Greetings and salutations, everybody. My name is Andrew and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Fantasy Football Week 4 injury updates. I'm basically going to be talking about all of the names that are considered questionable, out, and who I think you should be starting this week in specific scenarios. You know, many of you are thinking, oh, can I trust, as you can see on the screen, Doug Baldwin this week coming back from his injury? What am I going to do with Josh Gordon? Who am I going to trust when it comes to Larry Fitzgerald or Leonard Fournette? I'm here to answer those questions so that tomorrow morning you don't have to worry about your lineups. The answers will be within this video on who are the main benefactors to some of these specific injuries and whether you can trust to start players like you see on the screen, Doug Baldwin. So before we get into that, I just want to thank all of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Those of you who can continue to support. It's unbelievable how we've gotten to where we are, but I'm just going to keep doing what I do. And I hope you guys enjoy. So let's begin. Hey everybody, how's it going? Okay, so for the third week in a row, we are going to talk about good old Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman to start this episode. Now, it's no surprise, Devonta Freeman is a bum. He's been rotting on all of our benches for quite some time. And for those of you who don't have an injured reserve spot within your leagues, go to your commissioner and explain to them why an injured reserve spot is an actual good idea. Okay? Whether you're the commissioner yourself, go and tell them, listen, guys like Devonta Freeman, Doug Baldwin, Greg Olsen, Evan Engram, they don't deserve to be dropped, right? They deserve to be in the injured reserve spot so that you don't have to be punished for a guy miraculously or, unluckily getting injured, right? I don't feel like fantasy football should revolve around who is the luckiest when it comes to injuries. It should come to who prepares their roster to the point where you've got the most consistent guys that can go out and win week to week. It shouldn't be on who can stay the healthiest, right? That's not the whole point. But then again, it is in a specific area within fantasy football that you have to, I guess, play within. Anyway, so let's talk about Devonta Freeman, Tevin Coleman. So for the third week in a row, Devonta Freeman is out with this knee injury. They have not specifically came out and said what kind of injury it is. I'm assuming it's something of Doug Baldwin's nature, maybe a MCL sprain that has held him out for, up to close to a month. I think the way that this is going to go, Devonta Freeman is probably going to be out next week, and then the week following, week 5, he'll probably be, week 6, he'll probably be available to play. But even then, he's going to be on a pitch count. They're going to hold him and just hope that he's healthy for later on in the season because I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to try to make a push this year, right? So they're not going to try to force him back anytime soon. But that's not an issue. For those of you who own Tevin Coleman, congratulations. You have been reaping the rewards. In half-point PPR in the last couple weeks, Tevin Coleman has produced 11 points in week 2, 14.5 points in week 3. 11 points in week 1. 14.5 in week 2, and 11.7 last week in half-point PPR scoring. Now, why should you be playing Tevin Coleman going forward? Obviously, this offense can score. Tevin Coleman didn't play as well, and he wasn't used or utilized as much as Calvin Ridley was last week. But the fact of the matter is, coming into week 4 of the regular season, playing against the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals have given up the 10th most points to the running back position in fantasy football. I think he has a great opportunity. And as long as Devonta Freeman is out and he's the main back there, Ito Smith is, he's going to catch a couple balls here and there. But Tevin Coleman is an absolute stud. Just giving you that update. All right, we're moving on to Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard. Another two guys that we've talked about. Here's the thing. I think this may be Giovanni's last week as a starter. Joe Mixon has been seen at practice, running around, making cuts. He looks fine. I'm concerned on what the timeline is for his injury. Perhaps they might hold him out another week. They drafted Joe Mixon last year. They brought him in to take over this backfield. Are you willing to rush your running back, back from injury so quickly after his arthroscopic knee surgery? There is a possibility that Giovanni Bernard can have the next 2 weeks alone in this backfield, which is great. This past week in in half-point PPR fantasy league. What did he have? 17 points, about 60 yards rushing, had that touchdown, played well in the passing game. This week, another person, that we mentioned before, they're playing against the Atlanta Falcons, right? So that matchup's right there. The Atlanta Falcons last week got torched by the running back position. The Atlanta Falcons specifically have given up the 4th most fantasy points in half-point PPR, in which they gave up 15 receptions to Alvin Kamara and almost 188 total yards to Alvin Kamara. I mean, it's not any much better on the other side of the field. The Cincinnati Bengals gave up 184 yards to Christian McCaffrey this past week on 28 carries. McCaffrey was definitely getting the workload because they had a bye week. But all things considered, the running back position coming into week 4, this matchup, Giovanni Bernard, Tevin Coleman, they both are great starts this week. Let's say, for example, you only have one bench spot open and you have to choose between the two. I'm going with Giovanni Bernard. I think he is a better, I think he's just utilized more and more effectively per se. I don't know. It's really a 50-50 toss-up. They're pretty close to my rankings too, but I think I just lean toward Giovanni Bernard just a little bit more because I don't trust the offensive play calling of the Atlanta Falcons. So let's go into the next guys that we want to talk about. The thumbnail, good old Doug Baldwin, and then Chris Carson, huh? Okay, so Doug Baldwin, there's been whispers here and there. Pete Carroll came out and said, Doug Baldwin is going to play this week. I'm excited. He looked great in practice, etc., etc. Still with the questionable tag. Now, what exactly does that mean? I think Doug Baldwin is most likely going to play this week, okay? There's a possibility that the Seattle Seahawks are trying to get into the mind of the Cardinals coaching staff, and they're saying, oh, Doug Baldwin's playing, so that they have to be like, okay, we're changing up the defense. Peterson, you're always going to be on the side of 89. We're going to blah, 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 blah. Maybe they're doing that. But from what I can see from my perspective, I think Doug Baldwin is going to play. I don't know if I can trust him, though. Let's say, for example, you have Doug Baldwin and Tyler Lockett, and you want to fill that, that number 3 wide receiver spot, maybe your flex spot in a half-point PPR league, full-point PPR league. I think I would probably side towards starting a guy that I know is healthy, that I know that if, he gets hit the wrong way, he's not going to be out for the entire game. Or maybe multiple weeks. I understand many of you are excited about the return of Doug Baldwin. I'm just here to tell you, be careful. I'm not sure how healthy he is. He's participated here and there in practice, but nothing fully full go. I think, yes, because of his rapport with Russell Wilson, he is going to be dynamic and he's going to have a lot of opportunities. But just how many snaps is he going to get? Is he going to play 98% of the offensive snaps, something that Tyler Lockett usually does within this offense? I don't know if he's going to be able to obtain, much less be able to produce within that, just depending on how his knee feels, okay? So just be careful. Now, I know many of you are excited. Many of you have already locked him in. It's fine. You can go ahead and lock him in. I understand maybe you're like, oh, Patrick Peterson. You don't really have to worry about Patrick Peterson. Russell Wilson will find this man the ball. Okay, he will find him the ball. He will find him open multiple times. Okay, if he's healthy and he's playing. Just be careful. Now, Chris Carson was on the injury report this week with that hip injury that, kind of left him with the questionable tag all week long. My suggestion, fire him up. Don't worry about it. It's nothing that is going to hold him back. He is definitely going to play, right? Coming off that performance, 100 yards rushing, he's going to be playing. And he's got a pretty decent matchup. He was one of my starts of the week this week at the running back position. I think Chris Carson has a good opportunity to, have another breakout game. Plain and simple, that Cardinals defense is not great. Is not great at all. So let's move on from the Seattle guys. And let's talk about tight ends for the Colts. Now, Jack Doyle was announced out last week for week 3. He's the same deal this week with his hip injury. Eric Ebron was on the injury list earlier this week as practices went on, but he's been completely cleared. He had, I think, a hamstring and like a shoulder injury. He's been cleared. The way I see it, Eric Ebron, he's my number 5 ranked tight end coming into week 4 of the regular season. he's been looking good, right? As much as I've bagged on Eric Ebron for the way he played in Detroit, he's been good, right? Andrew Luck continues to find him. He had 11 targets last week, only caught 5 of them, but that doesn't really matter. The opportunity matters. Andrew Luck is looking to throw him the ball. I like Eric Ebron this week. Do not worry about him. He is not going to be injured. He is going to be playing, and he's going to be good, right? Now, Jack Doyle, on the other hand, I mean, it's not looking great. It's 2 weeks in a row that you're out. For fantasy owners who don't have an IR spot, that is not great. He is a candidate to be dropped, to be honest. You can maybe try to shop him around for someone who likes Jack Doyle. Maybe try to trade him for some, pennies on the value, but on the dollar. But all things considered, I think Jack Doyle can be considered as a drop. Maybe go pick up one of my streaming options at the tight end position. Maybe one of those lower guys in my rankings list. Anyway, we're moving on to, hey, Geronimo, say Geronimo, bombs away. You know that song? Please tell me you know that song, because I am literally humming it all day, because I know for a fact that Geronimo Allison is going to have a monster week. Now, one of the signs of whether you can kind of look out for when you go to these, the website. Let's say, for example, you go to the Packers website and they say these players practice today. They put out an official statement. And you see that Randall Cobb didn't practice on Friday and didn't practice on Saturday. Let me tell you what that means. Usually when players don't practice on Friday, there is already an issue. Okay? Limited, that's a different story. But he didn't even practice on Friday. Comes into Saturday and didn't even practice again. I think Randall Cobb is a no-go this week. And it plays right into the hand, or more like right into the gauntlet, if you know what I mean. And Geronimo Allison has had some pretty good weeks as of late, right? I mentioned it in the video. I think if Randall Cobb can be completely out, when I made that video, I wasn't assuming Randall Cobb was going to be out, okay? But the thing is, if Randall Cobb is out, he has an incredible opportunity playing against a Buffalo defense who, in my opinion, Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to produce against handily. I understand he had trouble with the Redskins the week before, but I think Geronimo Allison has a great opportunity going forward. Now, if you're a Randall Cobb owner, do not expect him to play tomorrow. Again, if you don't practice on Fridays and then you follow it up without a practice on Saturday, you can say, oh, he's a veteran, he needs the rest. Man, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Nobody who misses Friday and Saturday will usually show up and play on a Sunday. Like, honestly, if they had a Monday game, I'd be like, okay, he still has a shot. But as of right now, Randall Cobb is looking like a no. Leonard Fournette. Oh, my God. I'm sorry, guys. For those of you who selected him in the second round, I'm sorry. It sucks. It really does. Leonard Fournette, should have been, one of the top running backs as of right now going into week 4. I should be telling all of you, man, Leonard Fournette's an amazing running back. He's a stud. He's just been tearing it up. Instead, we're sitting here asking, how does your hamstring feel, Leonard? Are you good to go? Are you going to be a game time decision? Because that's what everyone else is saying. Just like the last 2 weeks, game time decision, game time decision. Oh, man, it sucks. I mean, I feel bad for you guys who have Leonard Fournette. A lot of you have asked, should I try to trade him? When he's healthy, he's great. But the fact of the matter is, ever since his days at LSU, this man has never been fully healthy. And when he is, he's an animal, right? But he's always been ailing with specific injuries, whether it's the knee, here comes the hamstring, a little bit of the toe injury, stuff that it's just unlucky. TJ Yeldon, if you have him on your bench and you need a flex start, I wouldn't suggest him. He hasn't looked great at all in the last couple of weeks. I just wanted to mention that because I know many of you will have to turn to TJ Yeldon this week. I just don't think. Well, I'm assuming that Leonard's not going to play, by the way. I don't think TJ Yeldon is being utilized at all. He had I think he had 6 yards per carry last week versus the Titans. What? That game ended 9-6, and this guy had 6 yards per carry, and they didn't use him more? Thanks, Blake Bortles. We appreciate that. But, it could have been one 30-yard run, and then the rest were runs for 2 yards apiece. Sure, but I'm just saying, 6 yards per carry. He must have been doing something right. Anyway, all things considered, Leonard Fournette, be careful. I will have the description of the video. We'll have, just like last week, their name and out or in. I will be updating it tomorrow morning as soon as I get up at the crack of dawn to give you guys the update. So if you come back to the video, you'll know whether they're out or in before game time. Okay, not the last two, sorry. The next two guys I want to talk about, Matt Breida and Alfred Morris. Now, Matt Breida, last week, I swear I thought he tore his ACL. I was crying on the floor. That's a different story for a different time. But Matt Breida, according to the 49ers, hyperextended his knee, was able to still come back into the game last week, which is a promising thing. He is considered questionable and a game-time decision as of this week. I don't know. Can I buy that? I'm pretty sure he's going to play. I'm almost positive he's going to play. He has to. What? Are they really going to send out Alfred Morris and CJ Beathard as their starting quarterback and running back? That doesn't look great at all. And especially because it's a good matchup, right? Matt Breida can be very successful. And if I'm not mistaken, let me see this. Who leads the league in rushing? Because if I'm not mistaken, Breida is up there. And yeah, Matt Breida, okay? Todd Gurley has an extra game on him, right? That Thursday night game. That's why Todd Gurley has 338 rushing yards. But prior to that game, Matt Breida is tied with Ezekiel Elliott with 274 rushing yards. Right now, he would be considered the number one running back when it comes to rushing yards in the NFL, if not the number one running back. That's pretty ridiculous, right? Matt Breida, a guy that a lot of you, didn't think about in drafts prior to Jerick McKinnon's injury. I think Matt Breida against the Chargers defense, who is not great at all. Without Joey Bosa for the last couple of weeks, they have not been great. Mebane, the defensive tackle that got suspended, that doesn't help them, right? I think maybe is it Mebane or Corey Lugent? I think it might be Corey Lugent as well. I think it's Corey Lugent. Gosh, there's so many names to try to remember. It's beginning to become a blur, as you can remember if you watched that tight end video with me and Tyler Eifert. But the way I see it, I think Matt Breida should be able to start this week. I'm hoping he does so. Now, here's the thing about Alfred Morris. Why am I putting that little hurt symbol next to him? Is because he's also questionable. He's got a knee injury himself that just magically popped up earlier this week, right? Breida went from questionable to healthy, and Alfred Morris went the opposite way, healthy to questionable. And then all of a sudden, Breida's back on the questionable list. What are we doing? I think Breida's going to start. I think you can, after this week, after Breida pops off again, you can go ahead and drop Alfred Morris. He's just picking up dead weight on your bench going forward. So the next guys I want to talk about, look at this. So real quick. I did this on purpose a little bit. Doesn't Keenan Allen look like he's flipping you off? He's giving you the bird, over there, and then I'm blocking it out. I'm just saying. That's what instantly came to my mind. I was like, dude, I'm just going to do it. Okay, anyway. Keenan Allen, a guy who's been on the questionable tag and on the injury report all week long. I don't know. Let's say, for example, Keenan Allen somehow wakes up tomorrow morning, is not feeling great, right? He runs around. He gets to the field a little early. His knee and his toe are still bothering him. Or, I don't know. His legs are still, messing with him. He's feeling old. Maybe those ACLs that he tore in the past are getting to him, okay? Let's say, for example, that happens. Mike Williams is going to become a top 15 wide receiver on the week, if not better, okay? So consider that. If you wake up tomorrow and they say that Keenan Allen is not playing, you must start Mike Williams. Now, you can go down to the comment section and be like, Andrew, if, for example, Keenan Allen is out, should I start Mike Williams or give me a good name, Jarvis Landry, okay? That is a tough question to answer because these Chargers are going to score points, and Mike Williams will be the number one target if Keenan Allen is out. So I would consider maybe even, you know what? I might go start Mike Williams over Jarvis Landry in that scenario, right? That's the thing. Now, if Keenan Allen plays, no big deal. Mike Williams is still a start. Keenan Allen is a guy you just have to be careful on. You have to understand that you're sending an injured player out there, and if he gets hit the wrong way and bumped the wrong way, you might end up with 3 points on your starting position just because he left the game after the first quarter. So just be careful. Other than that, he's probably going to play, most likely. But I don't know. We'll see. Just like this guy, good old Larry Legend Fitzgerald, likely going to play. He's been ailing with this hamstring injury for a while. The latest report says that he's going to play. Like they're certain, because Larry Fitzgerald he is just an absolute animal. I don't know how he does it. He's been doing it for so damn long, yet he just keeps powering through it, no matter how bad their teams are. Just a quick word of advice. Let's say, for example, again, Larry Fitzgerald shows up. He's not feeling great. David Johnson, Christian Kirk, Ricky Seals-Jones, they get the automatic boost in productivity and opportunity. Other than that, I think Larry Fitzgerald should be a play tomorrow at the flex position at best. I have him ranked within the 30s at my wide receiver, within my wide receiver rankings. That's just because I am not certain on whether he's going to play or not. There is probably a chance that let's say, for example, the chance of him not playing is 20%. Okay, otherwise he's starting tomorrow 80% of the time, playing against a Seahawks defense that's not that great. I think Larry Fitzgerald, if Josh Rosen, can just be a little bit better than Sam Bradford was, can find him downfield and he can be good. Other than that, just watch out for guys like Christian Kirk, like I mentioned in my last video. Okay, as we come to the end almost here, we've got Evan Engram, who's out for the next 2 to 4 weeks. I don't know. Again, if you don't have an IR spot and you're struggling at tight end, it might be tough to hold this guy, but I would suggest holding him. He is a great tight end. He played incredibly last season, and I think he can do the same when he comes back. But let's say, for example, you're looking for a tight end. I don't know. You'd have to be in one of the deepest leagues to have to resort to Rhett Ellison, but he played well last week. Okay, the head coach. The head coach of the New York Giants right now used to be a Vikings coach. He brought over Rhett Ellison because he knows, okay, Ellison can block and he can catch the ball. He had a touchdown last week. There is an opportunity for Rhett Ellison to be relevant. Now, am I saying go and start Rhett Ellison? Absolutely not. That is exactly the opposite of what I'm telling you. But the thing is, Ellison is the option there at the tight end position this week. So you're struggling. You don't have anybody else. The waiver wire looks like a mess. You can try it. Chances are, because I'm mentioning him, he's going to get 1 point. Because that's how it works. If I mention someone, they're getting 1 point. Okay? Maybe I should have kept it on the hush. Maybe I'll stop talking right now. But just keep your eyes out for it going forward. Okay. The last couple guys. I got 6 more names to drop. I got about 6 more names. Legit. Okay. So here we go. LeSean McCoy, dealing with that little rib injury. Hopefully he plays tomorrow. Because honestly, if that Bills offense is legit and Josh Allen is the quote-unquote GOAT and he's going to start, slicing up and slinging it, there is a chance that LeSean McCoy could have, a couple good weeks coming in the near future, right? The good old, what's his name? Chris Ivory was able to pick up 70 receiving yards last week on 3 receptions. So what do you think LeSean McCoy is going to be able to do if that's the case, right? I think LeSean McCoy, hopefully, will be healthy this week. Chances are that he's not going to be, which sucks. He's another guy. Obviously, he was considered to be less valuable than Leonard Fournette, but he was still taken within, the first 4 rounds of your draft. He's a guy who's produced in the past, and as the only option within the Bills offense prior to this season starting, many people thought he's going to touch the ball a lot because who else are they going to give the ball to? What's the latest report here on good old Shady McCoy? Okay. Ribs expects to play in Week 4 versus the Green Bay Packers. Was limited in practice. Excuse me. Blah, blah, blah. Horse. Okay. The way I see it, if he starts tomorrow, I haven't ranked him, but I did mention him in my rankings. at the end of the video before I talked about the Thursday night matchup. Oh, no, that was on the Wednesday. Excuse me. On the Tuesday running back video, I did mention him at the end of the video. I had him with all the names of the injured players that you may consider. So LeSean McCoy, if, for example, he's healthy, I would rather take him over a guy like Austin Eckler, right? I would probably, like guys like that are RB, not even just RB2s, excuse me. They're the second string running back within an offense, and they're PPR relevant, but you play in a standard or half point PPR. I'd rather have LeSean McCoy because LeSean McCoy's ceiling is way higher than guys like Eckler or James White, right? Yes, those guys can have good weeks this week, but I think LeSean McCoy playing against the Packers defense that got absolutely annihilated by Adrian Peterson last week, I hope he plays this week. And just watch out. As soon as they say he's playing, you got to play him. In that flex, go down in the comment section, ask me, because I'll give you the up-to-date rankings on who I think should be starting in comparison to LeSean McCoy. Anyway, the second name I wanted to mention, as you can see, Marlon Mack. Okay, here's the deal. I even made this deal with myself because I have him in one of my leagues. If Marlon Mack next week is out again, boom, drop him. You can drop him now because of how much of a disappointment he's been. I just don't understand it. Did they rush him back? Did he rush himself back because he knows Jordan Wilkins and Nyheim Hines are so talented that they're going to take his spot? I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what he was thinking. He rushed himself back. He got injured again. Marlon Mack, he's not going to play this week. That is a given. I don't even care what it says. It could say he's healthy. He's not playing this week. Okay? He's not looking good. He was limited in practice all week. I don't even think he practiced. I got to confirm this, to be honest, right now. I'm almost positive he didn't practice. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and click the good old hamstring questionable. He practiced on Thursday. Okay, well, let's put it this way. Even if he plays, okay, because maybe he does. Still irrelevant. Keep him on your bench. I'm telling you, he's beginning to look like one of these bums that you don't want to associate with. The hazmat suit kind of guys, if you know what I mean, right? The wide receivers like Amari Cooper. He's a hazmat suit kind of guy, just with a lot less potential. All right, the last guy I want to talk about, Josh Gordon. The last guy on this screen. We got more people. Relax, okay? It's still, the night is young, okay? Josh Gordon had a hamstring injury the last couple weeks, has been cleared to play, according to the thing. I mean, yes, they're gonna have that questionable tag on him, but I think going forward, someone's got to make a big play. If Josh Gordon can come out within this Patriots offense and they can design some plays for him to get open, he has an opportunity to catch a ball from one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So within that, okay, he's got a good opportunity. But on top of that, if they can perfectly find some plays for him to use his speed, use his height as an advantage against the secondary of the Miami Dolphins, I mean, Josh Gordon has the world's potential, right? We've seen him be one of the greatest. I mean, what was that one performance? I think in 2013. I got to find it because honestly, many of you who are new to fantasy football are still wondering, why are we talking about this guy, right? He doesn't even play. All right, listen to this stat line, okay? In 2013, Josh Gordon had 87 receptions for 1,646 receiving yards. 87 receptions, 1,646 receiving yards. That made him have an average of 18.9 yards per reception, okay? Now, besides that, the dude had 9 touchdowns. And he had 5 rushing attempts for 88 yards. This dude used to be an animal. Obviously, personal stuff, some stuff that I don't know. It's a mental problem, I think. Just he needs to stop. He needs to get off the drugs, right? He's got himself clean. He's done the rehab multiple times. He's lapsed, but if he can just stay healthy, he's He's within an organization that can find him the ball because, God, do they need someone to catch the ball now more than ever, honestly. Josh Gordon, if he's healthy tomorrow and he's playing, I'd consider him. Now, the last three guys I wanted to talk about. Corey Clement, Jay Ajayi, Wendell Smallwood. I know Darren Sproles is not on the screen. He's old. Think he's hurt. Bada boom, get rid of him, okay? But here's the thing. The three guys that I want to mention right now are very tricky. Jay Ajayi is going to play this week. Wendell Smallwood is going to play this week. Now, the question is Corey Clement going to play this week? Chances are he probably will suit up, but I'm not sure if he's going to contribute as much. Here's the thing. Even if you own Jay Ajayi, just the risk, let's say, for example, all three of these guys play, there is an inherent risk right there that some of these guys will come in, they will steal touches, they will steal opportunity, and they will take fantasy value away from Jay Ajayi. So going forward, I'm just a little worried. Like, Corey Clement was enough to be a worry for Jay Ajayi owners. Now that Wendell Smallwood had himself a pretty good week last week, 16 plus fantasy points and half-point PPR scoring last week, I'm just a little worried, okay? Now, does that mean, jump ship, Jay Ajayi is dead, pick up Wendell Smallwood, throw him in? No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just telling you guys, Corey Clement right now is questionable. If you have Corey Clement, you should probably bench him this week, okay? Because Jay Ajayi and Wendell Smallwood are still going to be within this offense, and Corey Clement is probably not going to have as much opportunity because, number one, he's hurt, and number two, that this backfield is packed with talent, and you never know when they're going to get their opportunities, right? Perhaps he just doesn't get his opportunities this coming week. So he's a guy that you just don't want to risk. Now, Jay Ajayi and Wendell Smallwood, on the other hand, I know many of you do not own Wendell Smallwood, so you don't have to worry about him, right? But I'm warning you now, just like I did last week, right? For those of you, there was a guy in the comment section. He's like, you hyped up Corey Clement too much, and I got fucked over by Wendell Smallwood. How dare you? You suck, right? And I was like, dude, you didn't watch the Saturday video. I don't know what to tell you. I warned you about Wendell Smallwood, buddy. I mean, what do you want me to do? You want me to call you? Hey, Charles, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to take out Corey Clement and put in Wendell Smallwood because it's over. You know, he's going to have a fantastic week. Just do it. Yeah. No, I know it's 12 a.m. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay. All right, good night. And, you hang it up. What do you want me to do? It's going to happen. It's random. Sometimes Wendell Smallwood's going to have a touchdown. Sometimes Darren Sproles is going to come steal one. It happens. But at the end of the day, the way I see it, Jay Ajayi owners, be very careful. Corey Clement owners, probably leave him on the bench this week. And that's basically it. That's all I wanted to talk about. Went through many of the guys within the running back position, many of the guys that are injured this coming week. If you have questions, please go down to the comment section. And do not forget the description of this video. If you go and you click on the description, tomorrow morning, there will be a list of names, some that I did not mention that may pop up in the injury report. Like there's guys like DeAndre Hopkins and Kyle Fuller. I didn't mind. Honestly, I thought about putting him in this video, but Kyle Fuller was taken off the injury report earlier today, right? And DeAndre Hopkins, it literally said, okay, knee, shoulder, toe injury, like head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Like literally, that's what his injury report said. I'm gonna go really quickly while we're still here, while everyone's still relaxed and not triggered that I told you to bench Corey Clement. Where are we at? Come on, thank you. All right, DeAndre Hopkins. What does it say? DeAndre Hopkins injury consists of ankle, hamstring, and thumb. Okay, it's not head, shoulders, knees, and toes. But it's pretty close, people. You might as well start head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Dun, dun. Okay, hey, Geronimo. Okay, so anyway, thank you, everybody, for watching. DeAndre Hopkins, Kyle Fuller, most likely going to play tomorrow. Let's say, for example, they don't, okay? That is going to hurt Deshaun Watson. That's it. That's my only statement. If you have any questions, go to the comment section. I will make sure to answer them. I'm home. I don't got work. I'll be there. Anyway, thank you again for watching. If you haven't already, please go down, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm putting out content every day except for Sundays. So if you're ready, it'll be in your mailbox. A lot of great fantasy content coming your way. And also, the comment section, besides me commenting, there's other people there. They're happy to help, answer questions, be supportive.
And
honestly, just have fun down there. A lot of you guys making jokes, making fun of my beard. How dare you, number one? That's I don't take those lightly. That is that hurt. That stung a little bit. No, I didn't. But anyway, thank you everybody for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys.